I think that Palestine solidarity or anti-apartheid, anti-genocide activism by Jews in Australia and elsewhere is also one of the best measures to counter anti-Semitism. So in any case, I'm against anti-Semitism. It's wrong,
Of course.
But on top of just doing the right thing here, stopping genocide and apartheid, I think that Jewish activists in Australia who are standing against the war and genocide are also contributing a lot to the fight against anti-Semitism.
Absolutely. We've experienced it. And I mean, we've hardly experienced it. Well, I've hardly experienced it compared to what my mother experienced. And my mother hardly experienced it compared to what her grandparents experienced, where my grandmother lost everyone. I mean, she still talked about her brother till the day she died. He was her favorite little brother, and he died in the Holocaust. She's not even sure how he perished because she ran, and yeah, they all separated. So as a result, we understand that trauma, so we can't let it happen again to anyone, and that's not in our name, right? That's just such a powerful slogan. So one thing that Ilan Pappe said was that he hopes for a dissolution of Israel. He said, "Hope for me is for an end of Israel and for a free Palestine from the river to the sea."
And for me, hope, I want to explain that nobody misunderstand what I mean for me. Hope for me is the end of Israel and the creation of a free Palestine from the river to the sea.
What do you say about that?
I sympathize with this statement. I am not categorically opposed to the existence of a state called Israel or even a state that is regarded as a Jewish state. But I think that if you start rooting out everything that's rotten and racist here in Israel, and you change things, and even if you opt for a so-called two-state solution, what you'll end up here with Israel may not be regarded as Israel by most Zionists. You'll have to discard the racist laws, the Jewish Agency, the Jewish National Fund, immigration and naturalization laws. Lots of constitutionally racist stuff. Will this still be an Israel to hardcore Zionists? I don't know. You should ask them. So I can support a two-state solution, and it may solve some problems regarding the Westbank and the Gaza Strip. But then you have the issue of discrimination against Palestinian citizens of Israel and the Palestinian refugees, the Nakba. And even if you resolve all of these issues within a framework of a two-state solution, Israel would need to be overall to the extent of perhaps no longer being, surely no longer being the Israel that it is right now constitutionally.
And a Jewish state, a primarily Jewish state.
It could be a Jewish state. Yeah. I mean, I'm not against the notion of a Jewish state, but what does that mean? I mean, not if it means racism against others. I mean, you could say, for example, that Ireland is still a Christian state, but as far as I know, there's no discrimination, sort of constitutional level discrimination against non-Christians in Ireland. Sort of maybe culturally Christian, that Christmas is a prominent.
Australia's like
holiday,
that. Australia's a Christian state. We're on the Commonwealth. We celebrate the King's birthday. We do Christmas holidays. We've tried to rename it to just holiday season, but it's Christmas. We get Christmas Day off. We get Easter off, and yet it's still so inclusive, and there's so much diversity, and there's no apartheid. So can it not go into a country like that? Can it not become that one day? Yeah.
So there's a major difference here. So when people tell you that, first of all, you can ask them and say, "Oh, Israel is a Jewish state," and they say Australia is a Christian state. Well, not exactly. If you look, so again, Australia is Christian, sort of culturally Christian, but no religious coercion and nothing that leads to ethno-religious constitutional level discrimination.
Yes.
And beyond that, you can ask, you go back to nation states as opposed to Australia, which is more of an immigration state. So if you look at Ireland, you can say, yeah, Ireland is the nation state of the Irish people. Okay, fair enough. And then what? Israel is the nation state of Jewish people. There's a certain discrepancy here when you just say Israel and the Jewish people. Why not the nation state of all Israeli citizens or all Israelis here? Palestinian citizens of Israel are even excluded from the full notion of Israeliness.
Yes.
And the Israeli Supreme Court has refused to recognize an Israeli nationality. That's another pillar of discrimination here.
Yeah.
Because you could ask, okay, so build an Israeli nationality within Israel. But no, I mean, it's a Jewish nationality based on strict religious criteria. So Israel as a Jewish state is very different from Ireland as the nation state of the Irish people.
So could an Israeli, they call them the Arab Israelis or the Palestinian Israeli citizens. I know that the correct term is Arab Israeli, correct?
So now, it's quite loaded here. So
right.
I mean, I call them Palestinian citizens of Israel because I want to emphasize that they're Palestinian. And most of them, at least, are political allies. They I mean, not just Arab but Palestinian. Or they're also called 48 Palestinians, as in the sense of the ones living in the 48 areas. Arab Israelis, it's an interesting term, but still, I mean, they're excluded from Israeliness. I would not say that it's a pejorative term, but there's a certain irony here because they're not really considered Israeli by the state.
So could they?
Why use Palestinian citizens of Israel?
Could they ever be elected for a prime minister role?
Constitutionally, yes. Yeah, they can run. I mean, we have members of Knesset here, Palestinian citizens of Israel who are members of Knesset. We've had a few ministers here and there.
Yes.
Quite symbolic and not the ones who are really opposed to apartheid here. So in principle, yeah.
Yep.
But there is still a lot of discrimination against Palestinian citizens of Israel. And one of the best examples I can think of is a liberal community in the Galilee called Kfar Vradim, which in 2018 decided to exclude, actually canceled an expansion project for the community. It's a posh, affluent town, liberal in the Galilee. And they decided to cancel the expansion project because 50% of those who actually won the tenders for building houses within Kfar Vradim were Palestinian citizens of Israel. Typically well-to-do doctors, lawyers, accountants, Palestinian citizens of Israel from the Galilee who wanted a better, higher quality of life for their children in Kfar Vradim rather than the densely populated, underdeveloped Palestinian villages in the Galilee. So they just canceled the whole thing. To me, it's a bit similar to what we had in Mississippi and Alabama, southern USA. After forced desegregation, they had to open their swimming pools to both Black and white people. So some of these communities actually decided to shut down their public swimming pools. That's what they did in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, so it's a bit like that.
So I mean, this is constitutional level discrimination, you know, a municipal council getting away with it. I mean, because you would expect some intervention by the Interior Ministry, the government, maybe the Supreme Court. No, they can get away with it. So yeah, they can be members of Knesset, theoretically become a prime minister, but there's
in reality.
But what I'm saying here regarding this specific example of Kfar Vradim is that this is, I would call it constitutional level discrimination, because it seems impossible to challenge that in court.
Right.
It's beyond the fact that Arabs, Palestinian citizens here are excluded socially, just like women here and in Australia and so on.
All over the world.
So this is constitutional discrimination.
Right.
There's also a database produced by Adalah, ADALAH. It's a human rights NGO here for equality for Palestinian citizens of Israel, showing all the discriminatory laws here. It's a database of discriminatory laws here in Israel. So you could say that it even goes deeper than just societal discrimination against women, minorities, and so on. The regime can get away with allocating different resources for Jews and Arabs here.
About those two people that started, two Palestinian Israeli citizens that started very non-violent protests, still detained. It's been 8 months. They haven't been
I think that one of them right now, perhaps both of them right now, are either in house arrest or.
Okay.
But it's a major struggle. They have spent months in.
Yeah. And yet, if maybe yourself had organized that protest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can say it's a genocide. I can say much more than a Palestinian citizen of Israel, and also in terms of incitement. There's hardly any legal case, as far as I know, against Jewish Israelis who, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, who have been inciting to genocide on social media. But a Palestinian citizen of Israel who merely posts, that Palestinians have a right to armed resistance with respect to October 7th,
in
they
prison,
may be arrested and prosecuted and persecuted, socially, harassed in social media, fired from their workplace, and so on.